Hey, this is Chris from Midwest Bass Hunter, and today I just wanted to go over my top 5 baits. If there were only 5 baits out there, these are the ones that I would choose if I could only have 5. They're baits that I like to use at all times of year, and they work in a lot of different situations, different types of water, and with different types of bait fish. So for starters, I'm going to select the spinnerbait, and you can get these in many different colors and sizes. It's basically a jig with a piece of wire off of it and some blades that spin around in the water and vibrate and make kind of shine, make some flash. This bait works really well in all types of water, and it works great around timber. It bounces off of timber. You can fish it through weeds. It will pull through the weeds without much trouble. You can just throw it out there, reel it in. You can jig it. You can do lots of things. I like to use a trailer hook with the spinnerbait. That just helps with your hookup ratio. Fish swipes at it. You can catch them on the trailer hook if you miss them on the main hook. It's a great bait. Works really good on windy days in all types of water. My next bait would be the lipless crankbait, and there's a lot of different names for this. There's almost every company that makes a hard bait makes these, or some sort of version of this. This happens to be a Sea Bile brand. There are the original, I think it was the Rattle Trap, and they work really awesome. Any version of this bait works really good in my opinion. And the nice thing about them, they come in different sizes. This is a 3/4 ounce bait. I've seen them down to a 1/4 ounce, and I've seen them as big as 1.5 ounces. So what I like about them, you can cover a lot of water. You can really chuck them out there, make a big bomb cast, and you can find the fish this way. And it's pretty hard for the fish to resist this. It kind of swims through the water like this, and it vibrates and rattles back and forth, and it has a big rattle in it, so it makes some noise. And it will draw the fish in, and they will eat it. Pretty much if you put this in front of a bass, they're going to take a swipe at it. The nice thing about this bait too is it's actually not that bad for like snagging up, fishing up around brush, wood, rocks, anything like that. It kind of goes through the water like this and vibrates back and forth. And usually if you come across a lay down or a stick or anything like that, piece of wood in the water or rock, it's going to hit it like this and just bounce off it and continue. So it's not that hard or intimidating to fish around wood or heavy cover. So get you one of these and try it out. It's awesome. The third bait I like is the Topwater Frog. Just like the spinnerbait and the lipless crank, these come in many different shapes, sizes, colors, from many different manufacturers. This happens to be a Strike King brand. You get them from almost whoever makes lures makes a frog. It's a soft body bait, and the hooks are upturned in most cases. And this will go through any kind of weeds, vegetation, anything. Lily pads, fish it on top of the water, and it will call the fish in. I've even caught fish in open water with this. There's some tricks to this bait. You got to let the fish take it. It can be really frustrating. You're going to get a lot of bites, and you're going to want to set the hook because it's exciting. You see the fish come up and nail it, make a big commotion, and then you're going to set the hook and pull it right out of the fish's mouth, or maybe they didn't even get it. So you got to wait and almost feel them on your line before you set the hook. The fourth bait is the stick bait, or the Sanko. This is the original Sanko right here, Gary Yamamoto. These are really good baits. And then this is a Bass Pro Shops version. This is a Yum Dinger. So pretty much any company that makes rubber worms makes this bait. It's a really versatile bait. You can fish it many different ways. You can Texas rig it, Carolina rig it, wacky rig, drop shot, however you want to fish it. And it works great. It's probably the best fallback bait that I have. I mean, if I'm not catching fish, it's a really tough day, I'm going to try this bait because it always seems to catch them. And my last bait, if I only had 5, is the square bill crankbait. I love this bait. It is my favorite bait. And there's many different versions of this as well. This happens to be a Strike King. I use all different kinds. Whenever I see a square bill crankbait, I usually pick it up if it's one I don't have, just to try it out and see if it's any better than any of the other ones I have. Comes in all different colors, different sizes. These baits usually dive between 2 and 5 feet deep, so you can fish it in shallow water. You can fish it in deep water. It kind of swims, kind of like the lipless crankbait, kind of nose down, and this bill kind of pushes it to that position. And the size of the bill determines how deep it will dive, and the shape of the bill determines how erratic it is. So it kind of swims like this, and it makes a bunch of commotion, and the bass cannot resist this. Some of them come with rattles. This one does not have a rattle in it. And it weighs about, I don't know, probably ½ ounce. It's good to have these about a ½ ounce or bigger. You can really throw them far and cover a lot of water. It's really good for fishing kind of parallel the shoreline on riprap or around brush or anything like that. It works just like the lipless crank. If it encounters a piece of wood, most times it's going to bounce off and keep going. If it doesn't, it floats. So usually if you let off the tension off your line, it will just release itself and float back up. Unless you really have it hooked, and then you might not get it back. These are just great baits. I don't have a boat, so I fish a lot from the shore, so I can't really fish deep diving crankbaits very often. So this shallow diving square bill crankbait is my go-to bait, and I usually try it first. It's easy to fish, just throw it out, crank it in. I love it. So that's all I've got for today. Hopefully you learned something about some baits. If you don't have these baits, you should go get one and give them a try. They work pretty awesome. Like I said, if I only had 5 baits, these are the ones I would choose. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and get out there and fish.